Les Miserables, chapter 4. I am Jean Valjean. I was in my office finishing a few things before leaving to get Cosette. Javert was announced. "Show him in," I said. When Javert entered, I did not look up. I could not forget how badly he had treated Fantine. Javert stood there for quite some time. I don't know how he looked. My eyes were on my paper. Finally, I put my pen down. "Well, Javert?" "What is it?" I asked. "Monsieur Mayor," began Javert, "I wish to speak with you of a serious matter. A rule has been broken." "What rule?" I asked. "Someone in the lower ranks has shown disrespect for someone in the higher ranks," he replied. "Who is the person?" I asked. "Myself," said Javert. "You?" I did not know what Javert was getting at, but I didn't trust him. "And who has been treated with disrespect?" "You have, Monsieur Mayor," replied Javert. Now, I was completely baffled. I stood up. Javert's eyes were lowered. "I have come to ask you to dismiss me," he continued. My mouth was open. I couldn't find words. Javert continued. "You may say I can quit, but that would not be enough. I must be punished. I must be dismissed," said Javert. "I must leave in disgrace." "What in the world are you talking about?" I asked. "What have you done?" "I will explain, Monsieur Mayor," he said. "I was so angry with you 6 weeks ago over that woman that I reported you to the chief of police in Paris." Now I laughed. It was a mistake after all. "You reported me?" I replied. "As what? As a mayor who stepped on your toes and took a prisoner from you?" "No," he said, "as an ex-convict." The words hit me like a punch in the stomach, but Javert was still talking, staring at the floor. "It came to me some time ago," he said. "You look like a prisoner I knew 20 years ago. You walk with a slight limp, as he did. You have his great physical strength. I saw that when you lifted the cart. I suspected you of being a man called Jean Valjean." I dropped back into my chair. I returned to my work. "And what did the Paris police have to say?" I asked, pretending not to be very interested. "They said I was crazy," replied Javert. "They told me the real Jean Valjean has been found." The sheet of paper fell from my hand. I looked hard into Javert's eyes. "Really?" I said without blinking. "A man called Champmathieu has been arrested for stealing apples," exclaimed Javert. "When the prisoner was moved to Arras, an old inmate recognized him. He said he knew the man to be an ex-convict. He said he knew him in the Toulon prison. In Toulon, they found 2 more convicts who said that this Champmathieu is, in fact, Jean Valjean. He is the same age, the same build, and looks like him. I recognized him myself when I went to see him." "And what does this man say?" I wanted to know. "Valjean is in a hopeless position," said Javert. "Oddly, he doesn't rant and rave as you would expect. He acts as if he doesn't know what's going on. He says over and over, 'My name's Champmathieu, and that is all I have to say.'" "If he is indeed Jean Valjean, it won't go well for him at the trial," continued Javert. "Stealing apples is a boy's prank, but this man is an ex-convict. Then there's the matter of a boy he robbed." The trial was to be in Arras, a day's journey away. Javert would be going as a witness. Sentence will be passed tomorrow evening at the latest, he said. Monsieur Mayor, I remind you that I must be dismissed. It was wrong for me to act as I did. I rose to my feet. You deserve to go up in the world, not down, I said. The offense is not so great. Stay in your present post. Monsieur Mayor, I cannot agree to that, he replied. In my life, I have punished people when they did wrong. It was the just thing to do. Now I have done something wrong. You should punish me. Do not be too kind to me, Monsieur Mayor, Javert said quietly. I do not believe in kindness. I believe in justice. This is a matter for me to decide, I said, and I have decided. Stay where you are. Bowing low, Javert turned to leave. At the door, he paused. I will stay, Monsieur Mayor, until I have been replaced. Javert left, and I was alone with my thoughts. It was a difficult choice. I knew what waited for me in prison. Long days and years of hardship. The ball and the chain dragging at my leg, a wooden board for a bed, the whip if one so much as lifted an eyebrow. I knew what I would be going back to, but I also knew I couldn't let an innocent man go to prison in my place. I rented a horse and buggy and left for Arras in the early morning. I raced the horse the whole way and arrived in Arras just as Champmathieu took the stand. Because I was a mayor, I was seated at the front of the courtroom. I searched the room for Javert, but I couldn't find him. The accused stood in front of the judge. He twisted a grimy cap in his hands. He was frightened and confused. I recognized the three witnesses. They were men I knew years ago in Toulon. Their names were Brevet, Cheneldieu, and Cochepaille. Each one told the court that the man before them was Jean ValJean. Only Champmathieu and I knew he was innocent. This man would soon be sent to prison for the rest of his life for crimes he did not commit. I had to speak. Brevet, Cheneldieu, and Cochepaille, look at me, I shouted. Don't you recognize me? Don't you know who I am? The courtroom was silent. I am Jean ValJean, I told the court. I am the man. Brevet, remember the suspenders you used to wear? I asked. They had stripes. Do you remember? Brevet gave a start of surprise. He stared at me wide-eyed. And you, Cheneldieu, I continued, you have a bad scar on your right shoulder. You burnt it on a hot stove. It's the truth, said Cheneldieu. I turned to Cochepaille. On your left elbow, Cochepaille, there's a tattoo in blue lettering. It reads, 1st March, 1815, the date of Napoleon's landing at Caen. Pull up your sleeve, show us. Cochepaille did as I asked. There was the tattoo, just as I had said. Now do you believe that I am Jean ValJean? Champmathieu is innocent. I have things to do, I said. The court knows who I am and where I live. You can come for me when you choose. I left Arras to return to Fantine.